Okay, we're back, heading out to the little garage. Hey guys, tonight on the little garage, I'm going to show you the welder that I use to put together my rat rods and my car projects. So I hope you enjoy this. This is not a video on how to weld, as it's just a little review on my welder. Alright, so here it is, the Eastwood MiG 135. I love this little welder. I've done a lot of work with it. I've owned it since 2012. I bought it brand new. It was fairly cheap. I believe it was under $300. And then I had to buy the tank from a local plumbing supply. And they fill it with argon and CO2 mixture. So that works out great. It welds very nice. It's a good little welder. That's why today I figured I would just do a little video on it. So here's our piece we're going to put together. I have these scrap angle iron, the scrap angle iron laying around. It's a little better than an 1/8 inch on this big piece, maybe 3/16. And this smaller one's about an 1/8 inch piece. So these are pretty good sizes of steel to be welding with a MiG. Usually on the old rat rods, you don't weld things that are too much heavier than that. Alright, this piece is welded together. As you can see, it does a nice job. I'm not the greatest welder, but I'll tell you, this MiG does a wonderful job for a novice guy like me. This metal gets hot. You can tell by the discoloration. In fact, when I laid this bead on, these pieces were glowing red. You know, about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch on either side of the weld. So I know it penetrated really good. I put a little bead on the back here, as you can see. So a piece like this, I believe it's super strong. I've cut apart some of my welds before just to see how deep they were going and how well they were penetrating, and they were penetrating really good. So I just wanted to show you that. It's a great little welder, I'll tell you that right now. I weld a lot with this thing, and it does a good job. Okay, here we are. We got our thin sheet metal welded back together. I had cut that and just welded it back together to show you a little bit on welding this thin metal, which I had the heat a little bit low, you know, trying not to burn through it. So it's a little blobby, but let me show you. I'll grind that off with my 36 grit. I'll sand that down, and I'll show you what it looks like on the sheet metal sanded down. Okay, we're back. We sanded that weld down pretty smooth. Got a little low spot in there, but I just built rat rods, so I wouldn't have even ground that down. I just wanted to show you that this piece of metal is fully attached back together without too much trouble. And for doing these rat rods here, you know, I don't even sand my welds down. I just weld this stuff together, and that's the way we roll. But no, this is the Eastwood, man. It's really good. So that's doing the thin stuff, which I dialed the heat down quite a bit and the wire speed down. Again, this is not instructional video on how to weld. I am not given professional techniques. I don't have any. I'm a backyard guy. Okay, here we are. We have this stitched on here. I did burn through this mess right by my finger. I did burn a hole through the sheet metal, which happens, but you know, I just filled it in, just let it cool, and then added some weld on that. But I turned up the heat quite a bit. I wanted to make sure that I was penetrating into this thicker 1/8 inch metal. So, like I said, you know, not an instructional video on how to, but more of let's give it up for the Eastwood MiG 135. Great little welder. I've built a lot of cars, and it's been wonderful. So I figured I'd share that with you guys, and I hope that helps. It's a good little welder. All right, guys. Yeah, have a good night.